This is a generational risk for the New York Jets, as there is a new report regarding DK Metcalf on the trade block after his request for a trade, and the true price for Metcalf has been revealed with an extra caveat on top, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And guys, if you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest yet, this is the place to be for all offseason moves. We're covering it all, and if we can get to 5,000 subscribers before the NFL draft, we're going to make Matt do TikToks, because I do them on Nick's Digest, so I want to make Matt do them here on Jets, and also because I know he'll have no fun doing them. But guys, let's jump into it, because there's been a new report on DK Metcalf. Metcalf is, as we all know, on the trade block, and Diana Rossini revealed the true price of DK Metcalf on the trade market, as the Seahawks are seeking a first and a third round pick for DK Metcalf, and Metcalf is also eyeing a new contract worth around $30 million per year, and multiple teams have inquired about Metcalf's services. So obviously very interesting to see where the New York Jets are at right now, as DK Metcalf is a star wide receiver in the NFL. Last season in 15 games had 992 yards. On top of that, 66 receptions, great deep threat, averaging around 15 or exactly 15 yards per reception. Also had 5 touchdowns on the year. He's had half of his seasons, and not counting this one where he was 8 yards short of 1,000, half of his seasons he has been over 1,000 yards receiving. And in the playoffs, he does have a very good average of, for his career in 2019, 2020, and 2022, in his 4 playoff games, he averages nearly 113 yards per game. So you know he performs on the big stage as well. Matt, obviously it's a hefty price for Metcalf. What should Jets fans be thinking about this going into this whole DK Metcalf sweepstakes?
They should be thinking he's a great player, but this is an insane price. I mean, let's talk about the draft capital first to acquire him before we even talk about that ridiculous request for $30+ million. So a first and a third is crazy for a 27-year-old wide receiver who is not a wide receiver one. A first-round pick and a third-round pick, that is something I would expect to see if, like, Jamar Chase was made available. DK Metcalf, the guy you said only half of his seasons in the NFL has cracked 1,000 yards receiving. Like, what are we doing? A much more realistic price range for him, trade value-wise, is a mid to early second-round pick. I mean, a first and a third is just insane. The Seattle Seahawks can say they're looking for that, but you know they are willing to settle for less than that. The New York Jets have the perfect draft pick to send them. If they want to pick up DK Metcalf and they're willing to pay him $28 to $30 million, they would be sending him that 42nd overall pick that we have this year, our second round pick. That's what he would be worth trade capital wise. Let's talk about this contract that he's looking for. $30 million. Right now, the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL on a money per year basis is Brandon Ayuk, making $30 million exactly. Are we about to pay DK Metcalf to be the 5th highest paid wide receiver in football? Absolutely not. That seems like a terrible idea, in my personal opinion. A player who, unlike Brandon Ayuk, has not put up a first-team All-Pro season. I mean, what are we saying?
But Matt, casuals would all say DK Metcalf's better than Brandon Ayuk by far.
The thing is, though, the casuals are kind of right about DK right now. Not that, but they're kind of right about it, because when DK first hit the league, he was really exciting, and I know he was big and athletic, and that made people like him, but he wasn't, like, that good. He couldn't run routes. He dropped balls constantly. In the last 2 years, he's actually blossomed into a much more better, well-rounded wide receiver, and that's the only reason why we have interest in trading for DK Metcalf, because, you know, obviously, other than the fact that the Jets need good football players, and DK Metcalf is a good football player, the Jets only have Garrett Wilson. DK Metcalf is a perfect complement to Garrett Wilson, so that's why we want him as well. But DK, he has progressed year to year in his career, rounding out his route running better. His hands have gotten better. You remember, Chris, you remember that play where he had like a really deep bomb right down the middle of the field wide open, and it went off his hands for an incomplete pass?
Yes.
That was pretty funny, but he doesn't do that anymore. Like you said, I really like that stat that you brought up. 113 yards it was per game in the playoffs?
Yes.
That's a really high number. I mean, if we ever get there, that I'm sure would be very beneficial for the New York Jets to add to their offense. We don't know who the quarterback for the Jets is going to be next year or for the future, but what we do know is that quarterback is going to need weapons, and he's going to need weapons outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Breece Hall also a guy who can help in the pass game, whether it's screen passes or running back routes, which we know Breece Hall can run. Those two guys can't get it done by themselves. Right now, we are operating under the assumption that Malachi Corley is not really going to ever be a full-time member of this offense. Xavier Gipson going to be moving on most likely after his contract's up. So we need guys long-term who can help whoever the quarterback is reach their full potential. If you go ahead and draft a quarterback in this year's draft, you can't go ahead and just give him Garrett Wilson and that's it. No quarterback is going to be able to be successful with just Garrett Wilson as a wide receiver. So we got to go out and get weapons for whoever that next quarterback is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's the incentive to DK Metcalf. I just think it makes more sense to go through the free agency market and bring in a Tim Patrick and a Josh Palmer, because then you're putting so much money into your wide receivers. If DK is going to demand $30 million, then the Jets are going to have to pay two different wide receivers $30 million between him and Garrett Wilson. That just obviously seems like it would be just so much money for two receivers. It doesn't feel like a winning formula.
One thing I want to say to that, yes, that does seem like a lot of money, but we just watched a team win the Super Bowl with wide receivers that kind of looked like that. Devontae Smith kind of looks a little bit Garrett Wilson-y. DK Metcalf looks like A.J. Brown. And they're paying both their wide receivers a ton of money. So it is possible to develop a team like that. I'm not arguing that. That's not the way I would build the team. But if we draft a rookie quarterback and have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, that gives us more cap space to pay the players around whoever the quarterback is. So we could go out and pay two wide receivers big-time money if the quarterback is not making big-time money. Now, of course, when that quarterback that, let's pretend we draft, Shedeur Sanders at 7 this year, when Shedeur Sanders matures, then we have to pay him big money. Then we'd, of course, have to offload those bigger contracts. We'd have to get rid of those wide receivers. But the plan would be, at that moment in time, the quarterback has developed to the point where he doesn't need elite weapons everywhere surrounding him. But while he is developing and while he needs those weapons, we got to do whatever we can do to get our quarterback all the help that he can possibly get.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it does kind of go back to who your quarterback's going to be. If you're going to roll the rookie quarterback, then you do have that time saved. And Matt, you've been very, you've commented a lot over the time on Jets Digest that you believe in, what are you doing?
Oh, saying none. I don't believe in the quarterback class this year.
Oh, no, I agree. But you have said the easiest way to win a Super Bowl is having a quarterback on a rookie contract before.
Yes, and then spending a lot of money to build it out around them. Yep.
Yes.
I don't know if I would call that easy, but that's the way that teams are trying to do it. Yeah.
So it comes down to that, and I mean, it would still then if you believe in it and you want to trade for DK, you might still find yourself in position the following year to draft one of the top 3 guys or anyone else who shows up as well, where you could still find a great quarterback as well. So I think that is an argument for it, personally.
So someone made a good argument in the comments. It was trade down from 7 and then trade that pick. So, you would go down 25 maybe, and then you could trade that pick for DK Metcalf.
That would make a lot more sense.
I think that makes a lot of sense, but at that point, I would rather take my chances with Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, or Emeka Egbuka in the first round, get them on a rookie contract instead of paying DK Metcalf $30 million.
I agree. But guys, let us know what you think. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.